I got a phone call at 7:43 in the morning that saved me from losing everything. The voice on the other end said 5 words that made my blood run cold. Don't transfer the company. Run. I had no idea who was calling me. I had no idea what they were talking about. But what I discovered in the next 72 hours completely shattered everything I thought I knew about my own daughter. Look, I'm not the kind of person who believes in conspiracy theories or family drama you see on TV. I'm a businessman. I built my company from nothing over 35 years. I made my money the hard way, through sweat and sleepless nights. And I was about to do something I'd been dreaming about for years. I was going to give my daughter Sarah the gift of a lifetime. A lake house worth $2.3 million. Complete financial freedom. Everything a father could ever want to give his child. But that one phone call, it exposed a web of lies so twisted, so calculated, that I still get chills thinking about it. Before I tell you what happened next, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now because this story gets absolutely insane, and you're going to want to see how this ends. Drop a like on this video too. It helps me bring you more real stories like this one. Trust me, you've never heard anything like what I'm about to tell you. Let me take you back to where this all started. It was a Tuesday morning in September. I remember because it was the day I was supposed to meet with my lawyers to finalize the paperwork. You see, I've been planning this for almost 2 years. My daughter Sarah, she's 28 years old, smart, beautiful, everything a dad could ask for. She'd been through a rough divorce about 3 years back. Her ex-husband was a real piece of work. Cheated on her, took half of what little savings she had, left her emotionally destroyed. As her father, watching that broke my heart into a million pieces. So I decided I was going to fix it. I was going to give her a fresh start. The lake house wasn't just any property. It sat on 15 acres of pristine waterfront land about 2 hours north of the city. Private dock, massive windows overlooking the water, for bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a chef's kitchen that would make you cry. I'd bought it as an investment property 5 years earlier, and it had tripled in value. But I didn't care about the money. I wanted Sarah to have it. I wanted her to wake up every morning, see that view, and know that her dad loved her more than anything in this world. But here's where things get complicated. To make this gift happen the right way, tax-wise and legally, my accountant suggested I transfer a portion of my company shares to Sarah first. Then, those shares would technically purchase the house. It was all legal, all above board. It would save us both a fortune in taxes. The plan was simple. Sign the papers on Tuesday, transfer the shares by Friday, and by the following Monday, Sarah would own her dream home outright. No mortgage. No strings attached. Just pure love from a father to his daughter. I told Sarah about the plan 3 weeks earlier. We'd gone out to dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant downtown. I still remember the look on her face when I told her. She cried. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. She kept saying, "Thank you, Daddy," over and over again. She said I was giving her a second chance at life. She said she'd finally be able to move on from all the pain her ex had caused. She even joked that maybe she'd find a good man up at the lake, someone who actually deserved her. We laughed. We cried. It was one of the best nights of my life. So imagine my confusion when my phone rang at 7:43 on that Tuesday morning, and a woman's voice I didn't recognize told me not to go through with it. I was standing in my kitchen, making my usual black coffee, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Normally, I don't answer those. Spam calls, telemarketers, you know the drill. But something told me to pick up. Maybe it was intuition. Maybe it was luck. I don't know. Hello. There was a pause. Then a woman's voice, quiet, almost whispering. Is this Michael Chen? Yes, who's calling? You don't know me, but I know what's happening today. You're about to transfer company shares to your daughter Sarah. Don't do it. Don't transfer the company. Run. And then she hung up. I stood there staring at my phone like an idiot. My heart was pounding. Who was this woman? How did she know about the transfer? That information was private. Only me, my lawyer, my accountant, and Sarah knew the details. I tried calling the number back. It rang twice and went to a generic voicemail. No name. Nothing. I'm not going to lie to you. My first thought was that this was some kind of scam. Maybe someone hacked my email. Maybe they were trying to scare me into sending them money or something. But the thing is, she didn't ask for anything. She just warned me and hung up. That's what made it so disturbing. I sat down at my kitchen table and tried to think logically. The meeting with my lawyers was at 10. I had 2 hours. Part of me wanted to ignore the call completely. Just move forward with the plan. Give my daughter the gift I'd promised her. But another part of me, the part that had survived in business for over 3 decades by trusting my gut, that part was screaming at me to dig deeper. So I did something I'm not proud of. I started looking into Sarah's life. Not because I didn't trust her, but because I needed to understand what this woman was talking about. I started with the basics. I checked Sarah's social media. Her Instagram was full of photos of her at the lake house. Wait, what? How did she have photos at the lake house? I hadn't given her the keys yet. The house was still legally mine. I scrolled through the posts. They were from the past 2 weeks. Pictures of her on the dock. Pictures of her in the kitchen. Pictures of her with people I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped. I called the property management company I'd hired to maintain the house. Hey, this is Michael Chen. I own the property at 4782 Lakeshore Drive. Has anyone been accessing the house recently? The guy on the phone sounded nervous. Yes, sir. Your daughter has been staying there on and off for the past month. She said you gave her permission. I see. Thank you. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Why would Sarah lie about that? Why would she tell the property manager I'd given her permission when I hadn't? It was my house. If she wanted to stay there, all she had to do was ask. I would have said yes in a heartbeat. So why the deception? Then I remembered something. 3 weeks ago, when I told Sarah about the gift, she'd asked me a strange question. She'd asked if the house would be in her name only, or if it would be joint ownership with me. I'd told her it would be hers completely. No joint ownership. Full control. She'd seemed really happy about that. Too happy, maybe. I opened my laptop and started digging deeper. I checked the property records online. That's when I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. There was a lien filed against the property. A lien I didn't authorize. Filed 2 weeks ago. For $875,000. How is that even possible? You can't file a lien against a property you don't own. Unless. I called my lawyer immediately. David, it's Michael. I need you to look into something for me right now. There's a lien on the lake house property. I need to know who filed it and how it's legal. David put me on hold. Those 3 minutes felt like 3 hours. When he came back on the line, his voice was different. Serious. Michael, we need to talk in person. Can you come to my office right now? Don't go to the 10 o'clock meeting. Come see me first. What's going on, David? Just come to my office. Now. I grabbed my keys and drove to David's office in downtown. My mind was racing the entire time. What was happening? How could there be a lien on my property? Who filed it? And what did any of this have to do with that phone call? When I got to David's office, he had documents spread all over his desk. He looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Pity mixed with anger. Sit down, Michael. I sat. The lien was filed by a company called Clearwater Holdings, LLC. Do you know who owns Clearwater Holdings? No idea. David slid a document across the desk. Your daughter. Sarah owns Clearwater Holdings. She registered it 6 months ago. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. What? Why would she do that? That's not all. I did some more digging after you called. Clearwater Holdings has been taking out loans using the lake house as collateral. They've borrowed almost $900,000 from 3 different lenders. But she doesn't own the house. How is that legal? David's face got even more serious. She's been forging documents, Michael. She created fake ownership papers. Fake signatures. She's been telling lenders that you transferred the property to her months ago. And because the transfer was supposedly a family gift, it didn't show up in public records right away. The lenders believed her. Before I tell you who made that call and what Sarah was really planning, I need you to do something for me right now. Pause the video for just 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. Seriously. This story is about to get even crazier, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Also, drop a comment below telling me what you think is going on here. Do you think Sarah was working alone? Do you think someone else was involved? I read every single comment, and I want to hear your theories. Now let's get back to the story, because what I found out next absolutely destroyed me. I couldn't breathe. I literally couldn't catch my breath. My daughter, my baby girl, the person I loved more than anyone on this planet, had been stealing from me. No, not just stealing. She'd been running an elaborate scam for 6 months. Forging my signature, creating fake documents, lying to banks, all while looking me in the eye and calling me daddy. David kept talking, but I couldn't hear him anymore. Everything sounded muffled, like I was underwater. I kept thinking about that dinner 3 weeks ago. The way she hugged me, the tears in her eyes. Was all of that fake? Was she acting the whole time? Michael, are you listening to me? I snapped back to reality. What? I said we need to call the police. This is fraud. Identity theft. Forgery. She could go to prison for this. Prison. My daughter in prison. The thought made me want to throw up. No. Not yet. I need to understand why. I need to talk to her first. David shook his head. That's a bad idea. If she knows you're onto her, she might run. Or worse, she might try to accelerate whatever plan she has. I don't care. I'm not sending my daughter to prison without at least hearing her side of the story. But David was right about one thing. I couldn't let her know I knew. Not yet. I needed more information. I needed to understand the full picture. So I left David's office and made a decision that would change everything. I was going to follow her. I know how that sounds. Trust me, I felt like a creep doing it. But I had to know. I drove to Sarah's apartment in the city. She lived in a nice building downtown, a place I'd helped her afford after the divorce. I'd been paying half her rent for the past 3 years. Just another thing I did because I loved her and wanted to help. I parked across the street where I could see the entrance. I waited. 20 minutes later, Sarah came out wearing workout clothes, carrying a yoga mat. She got into her car and drove off. I followed her, keeping a safe distance. But she didn't go to a yoga studio. She drove to a coffee shop on the north side of town, a place called Brewster's. She parked and went inside. Through the window, I could see her sit down at a table in the back. And then I saw him. A guy, maybe mid-30s, expensive suit, slicked back hair. He sat down across from her. They didn't hug. They didn't kiss. But the way they looked at each other, that wasn't a business meeting. That was intimacy. I took out my phone and snapped a few photos through the window. They talked for about 15 minutes. At one point, the guy slid an envelope across the table. Sarah opened it, looked inside, and smiled. Then she slid something back to him. It looked like documents. Who was this guy? Was he involved in the scam? Was he the one helping her forge documents? When they finished, Sarah left first. The guy stayed behind, made a phone call, then left about 5 minutes later. I had a choice to make. Follow Sarah or follow him. I chose him. He walked 2 blocks to a BMW parked on the street. I wrote down the license plate number. Then I called a friend of mine who works in private investigation. Yeah, I know people. When you run a business for 35 years, you make all kinds of connections. Hey Tony, it's Michael. I need you to run a plate for me. 20 minutes later, Tony called me back. The BMW is registered to a Marcus Holloway. He's a real estate developer. Owns a bunch of commercial properties downtown. But here's the interesting part. He filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago. Lost almost everything in a bad deal. He's been rebuilding, but word on the street is he's desperate for cash. Marcus Holloway, real estate developer, desperate for cash. This was starting to make sense. Sarah meets a guy who needs money. She has access to a multi-million-dollar property through me. They come up with a plan to use the house as collateral for loans. Once the house is officially in her name, they take out even more loans, drain every penny they can, and then what? Disappear. Let the house go into foreclosure. Stick me with the debt. My phone rang. Unknown number again. The same one from this morning. Hello. Did you go to the meeting? It was the same woman's voice. No. Who are you? How do you know all this? There was a long pause. My name is Jennifer. I'm Marcus Holloway's ex-wife. Everything clicked into place. You called to warn me because he did the same thing to me. He found a woman, convinced her to trust him, used her assets to get loans, and then destroyed her financially. I lost my house, my savings, everything. And now he's doing it again with your daughter. Except this time it's worse because she's helping him. She's not a victim, Mr. Chen. She's his partner. I felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. How did you find out about me? I've been following Marcus for months, trying to gather evidence to take him to court. I saw him meeting with Sarah. I did some digging and found out who you were. When I saw the transfer was happening today, I knew I had to warn you. I couldn't let him destroy another family. Where are they now? What's their endgame? Jennifer's voice got quiet. The plan is to get the house in Sarah's name, take out a massive home equity line of credit for the full value of the property, drain the money, and then claim the house was stolen from her through some kind of scam. She'll play the victim. Say someone tricked her. Meanwhile, the money will be long gone, probably in offshore accounts. You'll be left with nothing, and she'll walk away clean. That's insane. She's my daughter. Why would she do this to me? Money makes people do terrible things, Mr. Chen. And Marcus is very good at manipulating people. He probably convinced her that you owed her this. That you'd been controlling her whole life. That taking what's rightfully hers isn't really stealing. I've seen him do it before. I sat in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to drive to Sarah's apartment and demand answers. But I knew I had to be smart about this. What should I do? Do you trust your lawyer? Yes. Then call him right now. Tell him to freeze everything. Cancel the transfer. File a police report. And whatever you do, don't confront Sarah yet. If she knows you're onto her, she'll disappear. Marcus has done it before. He's got connections, fake passports, everything. You need to trap them first. How? Let the transfer go through. What? Are you crazy? Listen to me. If you cancel now, they'll know someone tipped you off. They'll run. You'll never get justice, and they'll just do this to someone else. But if you let the transfer happen, they'll think they won. They'll get comfortable. They'll make mistakes. And that's when you catch them. But if I transfer the company shares to her, I lose everything. Not if you have a plan. Work with your lawyer. Set up safeguards. Make it so the shares transfer, but the house doesn't actually change hands until certain conditions are met. Conditions they can't fulfill. Meanwhile, you gather evidence. You document everything. And when you have enough, you go to the police and you bury them both. It was risky. It was insane. But it was also the only way to get real justice. Not just stop the scam, but make sure Sarah and Marcus actually faced consequences for what they'd done. Okay, I'll do it. I called David back. Told him the plan. He thought I was out of my mind, but he agreed to help. We spent the next 6 hours restructuring the entire deal. The shares would transfer to Sarah, yes. But the house would be held in a trust with conditions that required her to maintain clean financial records for 6 months before full ownership transferred. Any liens, any loans, any financial irregularities would void the deal and everything would revert back to me. It was bulletproof. We scheduled the signing for Thursday. 2 days away. That gave me time to prepare. Time to gather evidence. Time to set the trap. I went home that night and couldn't sleep. I kept looking at old photos of Sarah. Her as a little girl on my shoulders at the beach. Her high school graduation. Her wedding day, before everything fell apart. Where did I go wrong? How did my little girl turn into someone capable of this? The next morning, Wednesday, Sarah called me. "Hey, Daddy." Her voice was so cheerful, so normal, like she wasn't in the middle of destroying my life. "Hey, sweetheart. What's up? I just wanted to say thank you again for everything. I know the signing is tomorrow, and I just keep thinking about how lucky I am to have a dad like you. You've always been there for me, always supported me. I don't know what I'd do without you." Every word was a knife in my chest. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to ask her why. But I kept my voice steady. "I love you, Sarah. You know that, right?" "I know, Daddy. I love you too." After we hung up, I cried for the first time in 20 years. Real, ugly crying. The kind that makes your whole body shake. My daughter was a stranger. The person I'd raised, the person I'd sacrificed everything for, didn't exist anymore. Or maybe she never existed at all. Maybe I'd been blind this whole time. Thursday came. The signing was at 2 in the afternoon. I got there early. David had everything prepared. The documents looked normal on the surface, but hidden in the legal language were all our safeguards. All our traps. Sarah arrived right on time. She wore a blue dress, the same color she'd worn to her college graduation. She hugged me tight. "This is really happening," she whispered. "Yeah, it really is." We sat down. David walked us through the documents page by page. Sarah signed everything without even reading it carefully. She was too excited, too confident. She thought she'd already won. When it was done, David handed her a folder with copies of everything. "Congratulations, Sarah. The shares are now in your name. The trust takes effect immediately, and in 6 months, assuming all conditions are met, the lake house will be fully yours." She smiled so big. 6 months. I can wait 6 months. No, you can't, I thought. Because you don't have 6 months. You have about 72 hours before your whole world collapses. After Sarah left, David looked at me. "You okay?" "No. But I will be." "What's next?" "Now we wait. I've already contacted the FBI. They're building a case for wire fraud and identity theft. They're monitoring all of Sarah's financial accounts and Marcus's accounts. The second they try to move money or take out another loan using the property, the FBI will move in. How long? Could be days. Could be weeks. But based on what Jennifer told you, my guess is they'll move fast. They think they've won. They'll want to cash out as soon as possible." David was right. It took exactly 60 hours. On Sunday morning, I got a call from an FBI agent named Rodriguez. "Mr. Chen, we've got them. Sarah and Marcus attempted to take out a $2 million home equity line of credit this morning using forged documents that claimed the trust conditions had already been met. They tried to wire the money to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. We intercepted the transfer and executed arrest warrants 30 minutes ago. They're both in custody." Okay, stop right there. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Click that subscribe button right now because this final part is going to blow your mind. I'm about to tell you what happened when I came face to face with Sarah in that interrogation room, and trust me, what she said changed everything I thought I knew about this entire situation. Also, I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? How did you handle it? Drop your story below. I'm reading all of them. Now let's finish this story, because the ending is something I never saw coming. They arrested Sarah at Marcus's apartment. She wasn't even at her own place anymore. She'd basically moved in with him. When Agent Rodriguez told me that detail, it hit me that I didn't even know my own daughter anymore. I didn't know where she was living. I didn't know who she was spending her time with. I'd been so focused on being a good provider that I'd completely missed the signs that she was becoming someone else entirely. The FBI asked me if I wanted to press charges. Full charges. Wire fraud, identity theft, forgery, conspiracy to commit fraud. We were talking serious federal crimes. She could get 20 years in prison. 20 years. She'd be almost 50 by the time she got out. I told them I needed 24 hours to think about it. That night was the longest night of my life. I kept going back and forth in my head. Part of me wanted her to pay for what she'd done. She'd betrayed me in the worst possible way. She'd looked me in the eyes and lied to me over and over again. She deserved to face consequences. But another part of me, the father part, couldn't imagine sending my own daughter to prison for 2 decades. No matter what she'd done, she was still my little girl. Wasn't she? I called Jennifer, Marcus's ex-wife, the woman who'd saved me from losing everything. I don't know what to do, I told her. She's my daughter. Jennifer was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something? When Marcus destroyed my life, I was so angry I wanted him dead. Literally dead. I fantasized about it. But you know what I learned? Revenge doesn't fix anything. It doesn't undo what happened. It doesn't make the pain go away. The only thing that helped me heal was accepting that he was sick. Not mentally ill, but morally sick. And I had to let go of the idea that I could fix him or change him or make him understand what he'd done to me. So you're saying I should just let her go? No. I'm saying you need to decide what you can live with. Can you live with sending her to prison? Or can you live with her getting away with it? There's no right answer, Mr. Chen. Only the answer you can sleep with at night. I didn't sleep that night. But by morning, I'd made my decision. I called Agent Rodriguez. I want to talk to her. Before I decide anything, I need to talk to my daughter face to face. They arranged it for that afternoon. The FBI field office downtown. I sat in a small gray room with a metal table and 2 chairs. It looked exactly like every interrogation room you've ever seen on TV. Cold, depressing, hopeless. Then they brought her in. She was wearing an orange jumpsuit. No makeup. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked exhausted. But the second she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. Daddy. That one word almost broke me. The FBI agent left us alone but stayed outside the door with a window. We had 30 minutes. I sat across from her and just stared. I didn't know what to say. How do you start a conversation like this? Sarah spoke first. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry for what, exactly? Sorry you got caught? Or sorry you did it? She flinched like I'd slapped her. Both. All of it. I never meant for it to go this far. Then how far did you mean for it to go? Walk me through it, Sarah. When did you decide to steal from your own father? She looked down at her hands. It wasn't like that at first. I met Marcus about 8 months ago. At a charity event. He was charming and successful and he made me feel special. After everything with my ex-husband, I just wanted to feel wanted again. We started dating. Everything was great for a couple months. And then he told me about his financial problems. He said he'd made some bad investments and lost everything, but he had a new business opportunity that could fix it all. He just needed capital. He asked if I could help. I told him I didn't have that kind of money. That's when he asked about you. My jaw clenched. He asked you to steal from me. No, not at first. He just asked about your business, your assets. I told him about the lake house. About how you'd mentioned maybe giving it to me someday. And he said, why wait? Why not ask you for it now? You clearly loved me. You'd do anything for me. So I should just ask. So the whole dinner, the whole emotional scene about the divorce and starting fresh, that was all Marcus's idea? Tears were streaming down her face now. At first, yes. He coached me on what to say. How to make you feel like you were saving me. But Daddy, I swear, part of me really did want that fresh start. Part of me really was grateful. But not grateful enough to stop lying to me. Not grateful enough to stop forging my signature and taking out fraudulent loans. She broke down completely. I didn't want to do that part. I swear I didn't. But Marcus said it was the only way. He said once you gave me the house, we could leverage it to get the money for his business deal. He said we'd make millions and I could pay you back 10 times over. He said you'd never even know. But I would know, Sarah. Because eventually all those loans would come due. Eventually the house would go into foreclosure. Did you even think about that? Or were you planning to just disappear with Marcus and leave me holding the bag? I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Every time I tried to question the plan, Marcus would tell me I was overthinking it. He'd tell me to trust him. He'd tell me we were in this together. And I believed him because I loved him. Or I thought I loved him. I don't even know anymore. I leaned back in my chair. Did he love you? Or were you just a tool to get to my money? Sarah's face crumpled. After they arrested us, Marcus wouldn't even look at me. His lawyer showed up within an hour. Expensive lawyer, clearly someone he'd had on retainer. And the first thing Marcus did was try to pin everything on me. He told the FBI that I'd manipulated him. That I'd forged documents without his knowledge. That he was just an innocent businessman who got caught up in my scheme. He threw me under the bus without hesitating. And there it was. The truth she'd been avoiding. Marcus never loved her. He'd used her from day one. She was just another mark. Another victim. Except she'd been so desperate to feel valued, so desperate to feel loved, that she convinced herself to destroy the one person who actually did love her unconditionally. Me. So now what? I asked. You say you're sorry. You say you didn't mean for it to go this far. But Sarah, you forged my signature. You committed federal crimes. You were willing to let me lose everything. How do I forgive that? I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. I just need you to know that I never stopped loving you. Even when I was doing all those horrible things, I still loved you. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's true. You're right. It doesn't make sense. Because if you loved me, you wouldn't have been able to look me in the eye and lie to me over and over again. If you loved me, you would have come to me the second Marcus suggested this plan. You would have asked for help instead of trying to destroy me. She nodded, still crying. You're right. I was weak. I was selfish. I was so desperate to feel like my life wasn't falling apart that I made the worst decisions possible. And now I've lost everything. I've lost you. I've lost my freedom. I've lost any chance at a normal life. We sat in silence for a long moment. Then I asked the question I'd been dreading. If I don't press charges, if I somehow convince the FBI to drop this, would you do it again? Would you find another Marcus? Would you find another scheme? Sarah looked at me with red, swollen eyes. No. Never. I swear on my life, Daddy. I've learned my lesson. I just want a chance to make this right. You can't make this right, Sarah. You broke something that can't be fixed. You didn't just steal money from me. You stole my trust. You stole my peace of mind. You made me question every memory I have of you. Every moment we shared, I now have to wonder if you were being real or if you were just playing a role. I know. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. Agent Rodriguez knocked on the window. Time was up. I stood up to leave. Sarah reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Please, Daddy. Please don't give up on me. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll work for the rest of my life to pay you back. Just please don't send me to prison for 20 years. Please. I looked down at her hand holding mine. The same hand I'd held when she was learning to walk. The same hand I'd held on her first day of school. The same hand I'd held when I walked her down the aisle at her wedding. I pulled my hand away. I'll think about it. And I walked out. Over the next week, I talked to lawyers. I talked to the FBI. I talked to Jennifer. I even talked to a therapist because I couldn't process all of this on my own. Everyone had opinions about what I should do. Some people said throw the book at her. Make an example. Show her there are consequences. Other people said she's your daughter, blood is thicker than water, everyone deserves a second chance. But in the end, I had to make a choice that felt right to me. Not to anyone else. Just to me. Here's what I decided. I made a deal with the FBI. I would press charges, but I would advocate for a reduced sentence. Sarah would plead guilty to fraud and identity theft. But instead of 20 years, she'd get 5 years with the possibility of parole after 3 if she showed good behavior. Marcus, on the other hand, would face the full weight of federal charges. No deal. No mercy. He was the mastermind. He'd done this before. He deserved everything coming to him. Sarah took the deal. She's currently serving her sentence at a minimum security federal prison about 4 hours from where I live. I visit her once every 3 months. Not because I've forgiven her, but because she's still my daughter, and I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I would never abandon her, no matter what. Our relationship will never be what it was. That's just reality. The trust is gone. The innocence is gone. But maybe, over time, we can build something new. Something more honest. Something based on who we really are instead of who we pretended to be. As for the lake house, I sold it. I couldn't keep it. Every time I looked at it, I thought about the betrayal. I thought about how close I came to losing everything. The property sold for $2.8 million. I donated half of it to organizations that help victims of financial fraud. The other half I put in a trust for Sarah, but she can't access it until she's 50 years old and has maintained a clean record for at least 10 years after her release. If she violates those terms, the money goes to charity. Jennifer, Marcus's ex-wife, became a good friend. She helped me through the darkest parts of this nightmare. We get coffee once a month and talk about life, recovery, and how to move forward after betrayal. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met. Marcus got 12 years. He tried to appeal, but it didn't work. Turns out he'd been running similar scams for over a decade. The FBI found at least 6 other victims. Some of them came forward and testified against him. He'll be in prison until he's almost 50. And honestly, I hope he serves every single day. Looking back now, that phone call at 7:43 in the morning saved my life. If Jennifer hadn't reached out, if she hadn't warned me, I would have lost everything. The company shares would have transferred, Sarah and Marcus would have drained every dollar they could, and by the time I figured out what happened, it would have been too late. But I did figure it out. I caught them. And even though it cost me my relationship with my daughter, at least I still have my dignity. I still have my company. I still have my life. The hardest lesson I learned through all of this is that you can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can love them. You can support them. You can give them every opportunity in the world. But if they choose to destroy themselves, there's nothing you can do except protect yourself and hope that one day they'll find their way back. I don't know if Sarah will ever truly change. I don't know if she'll come out of prison as a better person or if she'll just get better at hiding who she really is. All I can do is hope. Hope that somewhere inside her, the little girl I raised is still there. Hope that one day she'll understand the magnitude of what she did. Hope that she'll use this experience to become someone worth knowing again. But until then, I'm focusing on me. I'm rebuilding my life. I'm being more careful about who I trust. I'm learning to set boundaries. And I'm accepting that some relationships, no matter how much you love the other person, are just too broken to fix. If you take anything away from this story, let it be this: pay attention to the people in your life. Not just what they say, but what they do. Actions always tell the truth, even when words lie. And if something feels off, if your gut is telling you something's wrong, listen to it. That instinct exists for a reason. Also, protect yourself. I don't care if it's family, friends, or business partners. Always have safeguards in place. Always verify. Always trust, but verify. Because the people who love you won't be offended by your caution. They'll understand it. The people who get defensive when you ask questions, those are the people you need to watch out for. I never thought I'd be the kind of person telling a story like this. I never thought my own daughter would be capable of something like this. But life has a way of surprising you, and not always in good ways. All you can do is survive it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. That's what I'm doing. One day at a time. If this story affected you in any way, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, because I share real stories like this one every single week. Stories about betrayal, redemption, life lessons, all the messy, complicated stuff that makes us human. Also, drop a comment below. Tell me what you would have done in my situation. Would you have pressed charges against your own kid? Would you have forgiven them? I want to hear your thoughts because these conversations matter. They help all of us process our own experiences and learn from each other. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.